We're in California.
Wait a second, I think it looks like we're in Whistler.
It kind of does. Look at this background. But truly, we are in California. We're just in a studio, and we had the opportunity to look at the brand new Porsche Cayenne EV.
Yeah, it says down the side, electric.
This is the turbo.
Yeah, we're big fans. We've owned 3 Cayennes. It's our favorite family vehicle. Now, a full EV. It does look like a Cayenne, but really quite different. And they've made it proportionally, overall, it isn't a whole lot bigger, but it is a lot bigger on the inside.
Well, look, it's 2.2 inches longer, but it's the wheelbase, which is 119 inches, that has grown. You're getting 5 inches more compared to the gas model. You know what that means for you? More rear seat legroom and cargo space. And Porsche really focused on comfort level. You know, I was surprised to hear that many people who turn to Porsche, first off, they go for design.
For Cayenne.
For Cayenne, and then performance. I always thought it was performance first and then design.
Yeah, I always thought it was, you know, it's kind of the whole package, really. And it's a prestige brand, of course. A lot of people are attracted to Porsche because of the badge on the front. And this thing looks cool. Now, of course, they roll out the turbo for us. That's the fancy one with the big wheels and all of the nice-looking goodies on the outside. I think on the outside, Andrea, it's a win.
It's a win. It looks like a Cayenne. I love that sloping roof line that this EV has. In a way, because it sits lower to the ground, it has this really stretched out wagon vibe to it, which I think a lot of people are going to like, but it's going to fit well into the lineup. And Porsche says that they really looked at the Taycan as well as the Macan EV to make this Cayenne EV even better. They really learned from those 2 models.
Okay, don't worry. Don't worry. They're still going to make the regular gas Cayenne. And they're going to make the plug-in hybrid Cayenne, and they're going to make this all together. And they said yesterday in a presentation that the gas models will continue into the middle of the next decade, so they're going to be around, made parallel for a long period of time. So you can have whichever one you want, or both.
Can you believe that Porsche came out with the Cayenne in 2002? And I remember people went crazy saying, how could Porsche possibly make an SUV? Well, guess what? Very popular, as we know, especially in North America, whether you get the smaller Macan or you get the Cayenne. It has been huge for Porsche. And now those 2002 models, they're being spec'd out, pimped out for off-roading, and they're going up in value.
Yeah, they overbuilt that car. That first Cayenne was kind of over-engineered to do all kinds of stuff, and people have found out they're great off-road. I remember Bob Carlson was the head of PR for Porsche Cars North America, and he came and did an introduction for the car, and everybody was like, who wants a SUV made by Porsche? It ended up being their best seller until Macan rolled around, and you know what? I was one of those. We had an old air-cooled 911 at the time, and we ended up buying one. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's one of the best vehicles that we've ever owned, truly. I'm not just saying that because I'm standing in front of a Porsche, but it's been so good to us. Now, this is the most powerful Porsche ever built, production model. And this turbo, when you use launch control, it has over 1,100 horsepower and over 1,100 pound-feet of torque. Is that crazy?
I can't fathom that, to be honest with you.
Regular horsepower, 844.
Okay, so that's the turbo. There is the regular Cayenne, which has just over 400 horsepower, which is kind of comparable, I guess you would say, to a current Cayenne S. Yeah. Kind of right in there. So yeah, it's heavy, of course, so it needs extra power. But yeah, you can have the Cayenne or the turbo, and we're suspecting there's probably going to be something announced in between there.
So the 0 to 60 times of the base Cayenne Electric is 4.8 seconds, and 0 to 60 for the turbo is 2.4 seconds. The turbo has a top speed of 260 kilometers per hour, and the base Cayenne Electric 230 kilometers per hour. Of course, standard all-wheel drive for this model. But,
and also standard air suspension.
Yeah.
So you have the big heavy battery. You have to mitigate the impact and the rebound with the big heavy battery. So air suspension's on there. You can also get active rear steering. PASM is standard. So it comes really nicely equipped. Of course, it's not an inexpensive unit, but I think that you get a lot of new technology with this car. Do you want to walk around, show the inside? Everybody wants to see it, so let's do that. So what Porsche does to make their cars look so aspirational is all the bulges in all the right places. Muscular looking SUV, and this one from a distance you can tell it's a Porsche because of the dynamic lighting system. These are the matrix headlamps, the latest technology. Now there's a lot of aero on this car, and you might be wondering, does it really make much of a difference? Well, on this turbo, all the active aero that I'm going to show you adds 20 kilometers of additional range compared to a Cayenne if it didn't have it. And it starts at the front. So you have active aero flaps at the bottom, and that opens and closes depending on the speed of the car to allow cooling through the car to help cool the batteries, or it closes at higher speeds. Then you have air goes in the front bumpers here, and then this is a major problem for aero on a car is all the wind that's inside the wheel well. They help deflect that out. And then even down the side, they call this a three-dimensional lower skirt. You get turbo on this model down the side, but this is actually carved out through the doors to help move the air along the back. And I'm going to show you something in the back, very cool. So overall, this new Cayenne is 23 millimeters lower. Now don't worry, we're going to show you the inside. Andrew's going to do a tour of the inside to show you that you don't actually lose any headroom. So down the side, the wind flows down the side, and then because it's quite a square vehicle at the back to give it its chunky look, they actually have these active aero foils that come out of the rear at speed to help move the wind across the back of the car and help it become more efficient. So the drag coefficient on this is 0.25, which is the same as the Macan EV, but a much bigger vehicle. There's more active aero. Up here you have a roof spoiler. This roof spoiler deploys at speed. This is kind of in its highway setting. And then when you brake, it flips up. They can't do it here in a stationary position, but you flip up and that creates drag to help slow the car down. So a lot going on here. Because of all of this aero, you can get 20 kilometers of additional range. That's impressive. And thank you, Porsche. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No weird door handles, just regular door handles. A win for all of us. That's there. Wheel size is standard wheels 20 inches all the way up to 22 inches. And this wheel is special for the turbo. If you get this wheel, you get wider flares on the wheel arches, and they come in the high gloss black. And these wheels, if you like them, you can get them on the base Cayenne as part of a package. Another thing that we should point out, frameless glass. There's no window frame here. And as I mentioned, the car sits 23 millimeters lower. So let's show you the inside.
So here's the interior of the Cayenne Electric. I want to add that this passenger screen, which is an available 14.9-inch screen, I, of course, found YouTube, and look what is playing. Yeah, it's the Porsche Cayenne E Hybrid.
That we just recorded. Look at us.
Now, when my first impression of this when I got into it is that it really has that cockpit feel. And Porsche is calling this the supermodel of their vehicle. So this has actually been lowered, this seat, by 2 inches, and it's giving you 1.3 inches extra headroom compared to the gas model. Obviously, all new technology in here. You've got a new interface. So right here we have it on navigation, and what I like about this screen, by the way, it's a 12.25-inch touchscreen. There's this fine line here, and you just pop it down if you want the full screen. And the graphics are just so clear. I'm really impressed by it.
You know those smartphones that fold? Like, look at that screen.
And then when you want it to go back up, it's just so easy to use. And then, of course, you've got all of these different modes that are available to you now. So all these different moods that are connected not only with the seats, with the ambient lighting. Now, there is going to be a massage feature that's available on the seats. It's probably not going to come out to the summer or fall, but that's also going to be connected. even to your music. So let's say you have the massage seats on and you're feeling it. You can either let Porsche pick the music for you, or you can pick your own music. So the technology is just mind-boggling. These are haptic controls, but at least not everything is done in the screen. This is super easy. You've got your ventilated seats, heated seats. You want to, phone somebody. One of the things that Porsche found out from all the research they've done is that consumers want buttons. We already know that. So you've got buttons for temperature here, you have a roller for your volume, and then this is all haptic controls. Look how easy it is just to switch things out. There's plenty of mood modes that you can choose from. And when you hit these mood modes, they're even connected to the panoramic sunroof, and it changes what you see up here, whether it's opaque, whether there's a pattern, if it goes clear. Now you can also just move away from those mood modes, and you can hit a button and it goes clear or it goes opaque. This opens. The one in the rear is fixed. Now, I really like this, what Porsche is calling a fairy pad. So you've got this comfortable center console, which you move back and forth. You've got some storage in here, but also this fairy pad. So you can rest your hand so that you can use the screen, and it's really quite comfortable.
Okay, I got a pop quiz for everybody. Does everybody know your Porsche history? What does fairy mean? F-E-R-R-Y.
Yes.
So right below, tell us if you know.
Fairy Porsche.
You just gave it away.
These seats are all new. It's a new generation. You've got sports seats, comfort seats. This one has the sports steering wheel. This is a 14.25 digital driver display. These two screens are standard. As I mentioned, this one is available. The other thing is that Porsche has left buttons on the door. We see other manufacturers where you've got to go into the screen and adjust things. That's not the case with this model. And a variety of colors, like so many different interior packages. There are women who worked on the colors and designed some of this interior, and they've come up with some great color options. A huge selection of colors, and you still have the drive modes on the steering wheel. Everything is truly at your fingertips. It feels like you're in a little cockpit.
Okay, from the last model and all of the other Cayennes, they had these little loop kind of grab handles. They've kind of done that here. They've got this bridge to the fairy pad, which is reminiscent of the grab handles in the older models.
Yeah.
But the biggest up for me is the fact that all this area here on the current car is shiny hard plastic. Now it's actually just in the touchscreen. So that, I think, is a major win. It looks much more upscale now.
Yeah, it's better, much better. And I asked, are the other models going to end up looking like this, an interior, the gas and the e-hybrid? They wouldn't say, but my bet is that this is probably going to be the interior moving forward. And they've done a really great job with it. Comfort level was very important to Porsche in this new Cayenne Electric, and they've nailed it with the comfort level. By the way, the battery is a battery that can be repaired. So you can actually replace the cells in the battery if there is a problem with it. You don't have to switch out the whole battery. So a couple obvious things that are positives is that the cost will be less, but also, how about for the environment? I mean, we don't want to just dispose of a battery. So I think that's great news for Porsche with this Cayenne Electric.
Okay, so back seat. This is important for everybody else. The front is pretty over the top, but more comfort here. You get 2 full inches of extra leg room. And now they've added power function to the rear seats for recline. So you can recline them electrically. And also these seats slide fore and aft up to 6.3 inches. So I'm going to put it up all the way to the very front position. Andrea had the seat set for herself. And actually that's quite incredible that it could still pass for driving. And then you can put the seat back. And so this gives you extra cargo space. You're going to Costco, you can move the seats up, you put extra stuff in the back. But you'll also notice this doesn't have a flat floor, which is the trend with electric vehicles. It has a hump here, which is where the transmission and all that stuff would be with a regular gas model. They say there's this computer in here. Also, the structure of the battery is all built into the body pan here, and it's the actual battery is encased in the structure of the car. So it's all integrated now. So obviously they've done that for strength, but you know, we're kind of used to that. There is a frunk though, which is for people who love frunks, and that frunk is 3.2 cubic feet. When the rear seats are in their back position, 19.5 cubic feet of space, and with the seats down, 56.1. Interesting thing, under the floor here, this is where you store the tonneau cover that goes across the back. There's a way to fold it and put it in there, which is nice because ours is in the rafters of our garage.
So yes, this does have the 800-volt architecture, first introduced with Taycan. It's very fast. New architecture has been designed for the batteries to be replaced, as we mentioned. Also, thermal management, all that aero helps with the thermal management, and the refrigeration capacity of these very thin cells that go next to the battery, the equivalent to having 100 refrigerators, Andrea.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Based on the European test cycle, this gets about 600 kilometers, 373 miles of range. We do expect a little bit less when it hits the North American market, but still good range for the Cayenne Electric. There are 2 ports. On the driver's side, you get the North American charging standard port, and on the passenger side, a J1772. And because the 800-volt architecture is offered, if you go to a DC fast charger, it can go up to speeds of 400 kilowatt. So from 10 to 80% in 16 minutes.
By the way, at the high speed, the high rate that it can charge at 400 kilowatts, it can sustain that up to 60% charge. Usually it's a peak, it goes way up and then way down. This can charge flat up to 60% charge.
This basically future-proofs the Cayenne Electric. Like in Europe, there are fast chargers that have speeds up to 400 kilowatt. More difficult to find in North America, but at least when they do become available, this is very capable.
Speaking of future-proof, this has a charging pad for inductive charging, the first commercial use really for a vehicle. You drive over a pad and it speeds up to 11 kilowatts, which is pretty typical for a wall charger.
Yeah.
You're only losing 10% of the charging capacity from the cable into the bottom of the car when it's sitting on the charging pad. So you just drive over it, the car connects, it starts charging, and you walk away. And if you own this car, you would never have to plug it in. Now that's pretty cool. But if you order a Cayenne Electric, you have to pre-wire the car for it. You can't do it after. You can install it if it's got the pre-wiring system, but so if you're interested in this car, you have to check that box.
So the Cayenne Electric comes with a 113 kilowatt hour battery, and listen to the towing capacity, 7,716 pounds. Now this is going to hit the market in the summer of 2026, and in Canada the pricing will start at $131,300 for the base electric, and the turbo will start at $178,300.
In the United States, the Cayenne Electric starts at $109,000 and the turbo is $163,000. If you do the currency exchange, it's a better deal in Canada. So when does this go on sale? It's on sale now, but it will be coming to market, as Andrea mentioned, in the summer of 2026.
So type below, let us know what you think about the new Cayenne Electric. Do you like the exterior design? What do you think of this all new interior with all of the extra technology now? Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, subscribe. We'll see you next time.